You've turned to TV 12, CBS in South Florida.
Good afternoon and Merry Christmas from Eyewitness News.
In the headlines today, a fire in a retirement home has left over a dozen people dead.
The Pope speaks of Romania while delivering Christmas Mass to thousands.
And its mission almost accomplished in Panama.
Live, this is the Eyewitness News Midday Report with Gary Tuckman, Martha Seibert, and Bob Nichols' Doppler 12 forecast.
Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I'm Debbie LeBlanc. Martha Seibert is off. Thousands of South Florida residents are spending Christmas without tree lights and heat.
At one point last night, more than 46,000 South Florida homes were left without power. And Florida Power and Light says the cold weather is to blame. The freezing temperatures have overloaded the power company's system, which means some customers are not getting electricity. An FP&L spokesman says the company reached an all-time high for power output Saturday night. Even today, with the temperatures warming, FP&L is urging everyone to cut down on the amount of electricity they use.
We're asking people to curtail as much load as possible, turn off all non-essential equipment in the homes. Everything they do is not only going to help themselves, but help their neighbors out too, until we can get through this cold snap.
Again, thousands of South Floridians are still without power, and FP&L is asking all those people who do have electricity to use it sparingly.
Christmas dawned forbidding cold here in Florida, where below freezing temperatures all but ruined much of the fresh citrus crops. It had frozen on the trees yesterday morning when temperatures dropped into the teens, according to Florida Citrus Mutual, which kept up a freeze watch throughout the weekend. Significant damage is reported to the $3.5 billion citrus crop and at least some damage to the $1.6 billion sugar industry, both an integral and vital part of the state's economy. That's why Governor Bob Martinez ordered a state of emergency, easing weight restrictions on roads and bridges to help growers move freeze-damaged citrus and strawberry crops quickly. As I understand it, we can look forward to this cold snap continuing for a while longer. Bob Nichols has the Doppler 12 forecast for us now. The change is nice, Bob, but I'm a South Florida girl. And how much and how long will we have to endure?
Well, I'll tell you, we're going to have to endure at least a couple more days, Debbie. But it is going to moderate a little bit, especially during the daylight hours. Already today, we're starting to see temperatures move into the middle and upper 40s, and we'll get into the lower to mid-50s today. But we'll be back down again tonight toward the freezing mark. We set another new record overnight. Just after 7 o'clock this morning, we were at 28 degrees. You can see, if you take a look around Florida, these are all record low temperatures, especially across the southern part. We had 28 degrees. That was a new record for this date, and it smashed the old record of 35 degrees by a lot. And it was only 1 degree off the all-time record low temperature for South Florida. You remember back in '77 when it snowed? It was 27 degrees then, and that is very cold. So we only missed that by 1 degree. Coming up a little later, we'll tell you what the forecast is. Tonight, we'll probably see 32 degrees, especially in inland areas, and we'll take a look at the entire forecast when we return a little later here on the Midday Report. Now let's go back to Gary.
Of course, we'll have more on this cold weather and its effect on us here in South Florida tonight on the Eyewitness News 6 o'clock report. Gary?
Fire officials in Miami say a 50-year-old woman has died after being trapped behind burglar bars in a burning building. The woman's 5-year-old son escaped from the fire by wiggling through a narrow space below the wrought iron around his apartment's back door. Neighbors say 50-year-old Maria Rivas could not find the key to open the front door of her home. Another fire this morning in a Tennessee nursing home has left at least 15 people dead. Reporter Cindy Close has that story.
Officials say fire broke out in a 10-story building just after 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve. The retirement home was full of holiday visitors when it started to burn.
I heard a buzzing like the fire alarm, and I woke up and I smelled a little bit of smoke. And I kept smelling. I walked in my kitchen, I seen smoke coming out of my wall in there, and I thought maybe my stove. And so I opened the door to go out in the hall, and black smoke just hit me like this.
The billowing smoke caused the most trouble for firefighters. Windows had to be smashed in just to let the smoke out. The first firefighters arrived less than 5 minutes after the call for help, but the blaze took 7 hours to control. The fire apparently began on the first or second floor, but the flames and smoke quickly spread up through all 10 stories. One firefighter says the victims have come from every floor.
We have a number of people who have been transported to area hospitals, triage areas, and staging areas have been set up for emergency medical personnel. And at this point in time, everybody being transported, we're trying to assist the fire department in evacuating people that are remaining or recovering bodies.
Firefighters repeatedly searched the building top to bottom to make sure no one was left inside. 10-degree temperatures complicated the effort. freezing water hoses and oxygen lines on the firefighters' emergency backpacks. The rescues were dramatic. Some people had to be carried down by hand, wrapped in blankets. Others were lifted down by hook and ladder trucks. All the injured suffered smoke inhalation, including several firefighters and one passerby who ran into the building to rescue people. A kerosene heater in one apartment sparked a small fire just last month, and officials say they were keeping an eye on the building.
This is a great tragedy. It's something, I guess, that we were worried about at this facility for some time, not because anybody was doing anything wrong or anything. It's just a matter of this many people in a 10-story building.
More than 145 people lived at the John Sevier Retirement Center, and on Christmas Day, many are no doubt thankful to still be alive.
It's a sad, sad story for all these old people, and, and everybody looking forward to Christmas, and then, all of a sudden a disaster like this come along, and, it spoils that whole thing. Spoil the whole Christmas with everybody.
Cindy Close, CNN reporting.
What's up, guys?
All around the world, people are observing Christmas. Christians, of course, are honoring the birthday of Jesus Christ, many by attending Mass. And today is the third day of Hanukkah for members of the Jewish faith. Children across America ripped open Christmas wrappings today, and gifts and cards poured into military hospitals for GIs wounded last week in the U.S. invasion of Panama. Emerging at noon on his balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square, Pope John Paul II delivered his traditional Christmas message, wishing tens of thousands a Merry Christmas, and he did it in 53 languages. The Pope kept his head bowed throughout most of his speech, but paused and raised his head upward after commenting on Romania, where thousands of people have died in the revolt. Today, the Pope prayed that the hope of Christmas may spread throughout an Eastern Europe awakened from a nightmare, and he sought a special blessing for Romania.
The Vatican today has a dilemma on its hands in Central America. Inside its embassy in Panama sits Manuel Noriega, the former military strongman of that country. 5 days after the United States invaded Panama, Noriega has decided to give up. And in doing so, he is asking the Vatican to give him asylum, preferably in Spain. Noriega obviously decided that giving up was his only option. It's been readily apparent over the last few days that Noriega is losing virtually all his support, as we noticed during our trip to Panama, when we visited his hometown this weekend. David, Panama is the area where Manuel Antonio Noriega is from. It was his stronghold, but the chant here is Se siente Endara Presidente. Translation, we feel Endara is our president. If these are supposed to be Noriega's friends, he doesn't need enemies. Soldiers at the Red Devil Battalion, still loyal to Noriega, patrol the adjacent Defense Forces barracks. But many have decided to give up, even before U.S. troops arrive here. This is Manuel Antonio Noriega's home area, but he'll be very disappointed to know what's happening here. As soon as the Defense Forces laid down their arms this morning, the people of this area came out and celebrated. And celebrate they did. For a time, the party turned ugly. This man is a Noriega supporter, and the crowd started shouting, "Kill him, kill him." Some residents on a balcony above the demonstration implored the people not to incite the soldiers. This woman said wait until Manuel Noriega is caught and all the soldiers lay down their arms before the celebration continues. Not all of Noriega's men have laid down their arms, and it's obvious that for many of them there's a conflict as to what to do. This soldier told me this was a difficult time for him, and even though he had pledged his support to Noriega, he did not want to say if he still liked him. On the side of the barracks, bonfires were smoldering, soldiers frantically burning sensitive military documents, but there will be no attempt to battle U.S. troops here. The Panamanian flag is gone from the battalion flagpole, and in its place flies the white flag of surrender. For Noriega, the white flag is symbolic of his downfall. This flag is symbolic of what caused it.
Norteamericano, viva los Yankees, viva los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica, viva Panamá.
Today they're celebrating all throughout Panama. The Vatican is indicating that it would prefer not to give Noriega over to the U.S. government. But the Bush administration says it still wants Noriega to stand trial here in Florida, where he's wanted for drug trafficking. In Romania, the violence that has occurred there is almost incomprehensible. Latest reports indicate that 80,000 people have been killed and up to 300,000 wounded since the popular revolt began December 15th. Former communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife are still in custody, and the plan is to put them on trial. However, gunfire battles are still breaking out between the army, which is against Ceausescu, and the pro-government secret police.
Coming up next on the Midday Report, the Dolphins aren't celebrating today after a heartbreaking loss.
We'll have that story and much more in the Midday Report when we come back.
All right, that's a wrap. Wheel
of Fortune.
Can you solve the puzzle?
Wheelies have more fun.
Weeknights at 7 on WPEC TV 12.
I caught you.
Are we playing detective?
You said you were giving up super premium ice cream.
I said I was giving up the fat and calories.
And what do you call this?
Steve's Gourmet Light.
1/3 fewer calories and less than half the fat.
And 40% lower in cholesterol, Sherlock Holmes. Now taste.
It tastes just like super premium ice cream. Steve's really did it.
I knew you'd figure it out.
Steve's Gourmet Light. We did it.
A law firm should be dedicated to service. Call and find out how our law firm can help you. If there's been injury or death from a traffic accident or other personal injury, there is no charge for consultation. We may visit you if you cannot travel. We also handle divorces. Call Jeffrey Greenwald, Managing Partner, with locations to serve you. In West Palm Beach, 659-0700. Boca Raton, Stewart, and throughout Florida, call our toll-free number. Talk with Jeffrey Greenwald.
In the world of sports, it was a disappointing end to the season for the Miami Dolphins. The Fins failed to make the playoffs and ended up 8-8 after dropping a 27-24 decision to the Kansas City Chiefs. Bob Aronofsky has the highlights in our Christmas Day Sports Wrap.
It was a cold day in Miami on Sunday. The Dolphins looking to make the playoffs against Kansas City. In the first quarter, Dan Marino hits Jim Jensen on a 4-yard TD pass. Miami up 7-0. Second quarter action, Marino back to pass once again, hits Farrell Edmonds from 3 yards out, and Miami was up 14-7. But don't count Casey out, especially with their big running back, Christian Okoye, who goes up the middle here for the 1-yard TD run. Casey led 21-14 at the half. The Dolphins did come back, though, down by 7 in the fourth quarter. Marino drops back to pass, throws his third touchdown pass to Mark Clayton. That tied the game at 24 apiece. It looks like Santa liked that one. But in the end, it was Casey with the last-minute field goal to put the game out of reach, 27-24. The Dolphins did try a comeback, but Clayton could not hang on. And the Dolphins will not make the playoffs once again. And that's it for now. Bob Aronofsky, TV 12 Eyewitness Sports.
And tonight's the very last game of the regular season. Cincinnati goes to Minnesota to play the Vikings. The winner of that game, it's a big game, by the way, the winner of that game goes to the playoffs. The loser stays home.
That's sad for the Dolphins.
You a football fan?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure.
Dolphins fan.
Well, maybe next year, Debbie.
Next year. Coming up next on the Midday Report, thousands of homeless are without shelter today.
We'll take a special look at South Florida's homeless this holiday season. That's next. We'll be right back.
I'm Bruce Codner, president of Bruce Codner Galleries. As a third-generation antique and art dealer, I'll buy your antiques, old oil paintings, oriental rugs, furniture, sterling silver, and jewelry, and I'll pay you immediately. Please call me personally at Bruce Codner Galleries to discuss whatever antiques, old oil paintings, and oriental rugs you wish to sell. Call today. Palm Beach, 738-6666, Boca Raton, 785-7777, and toll-free 1-800-356-3637.
Is just getting around getting to be difficult? Brochure. Call 1-800-323-7400. Call 1-800-323-7400.
For most people, the holidays are the happiest time of the year, but for the homeless, the joy is replaced with the hardship of survival.
Through the camera lens of TV 12's photojournalist Ken Catterjohn, we meet some of South Florida's homeless.
If you'd like to help the homeless, there are many organizations you can call, among them the Salvation Army. Debbie?
Bob, do we have to keep these blankets out?
Well, we do tonight, Debbie. Yeah, it's going to get back down again tonight. We're going to probably not get to the record-breaking cold that we got last night at 28 degrees, but it's going to be cool again. I'll have a forecast in just a minute.
My name's Captain Bob Malani from the Camp Casey, Republic of Korea. I'd like to wish Merry Christmas to my parents and family back at Coral Springs, Florida. Standing on freedom's frontier, the demilitarized zone of Korea, we often get lonely here, and during the Christmas season, particularly get lonely. I'd like to ask you to keep us in your prayers during this season. Hope to see you soon. God bless. Merry Christmas.
I didn't know my insurance expired. I didn't know my insurance expired.
Don't let this happen to you. It'll cost you a minimum of $150 to get your license reinstated if you don't keep at least the minimum insurance required by law. $150. That's a lot of money. You can get insurance started for that. You need to call the Insurance World office nearest you for a quote, or if you have any question about the tough new insurance laws in Florida. Remember, your insurance card. Don't leave home without it. I want to save. Save you money.
Looking for all your holiday trimmings? Visit Southern Ornamentals in the beautiful Waterside Plaza for all your needs. Choose from a wide variety of silk flowers and party goods, but don't go away. Nestled in the courtyard is Southern Ornamentals Costume Shop, Toyland, and your own Christmas supermarket. Trim your tree from their wondrously trimmed trees, lights, decorations. Stuff those stockings, fill those packages from special sales now going on at Southern Ornamentals, the Waterside Plaza of Lake Worth on the corner of 10th Avenue North and Florida Mango. Open Monday through Friday 10 to 8, Saturday 10 to 6, and Sunday noon to 6.
Doppler 12 weather is an exclusive feature of TV 12 Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a very happy and pleasant Christmas and a happy holiday to everyone. You know, you probably lived around here a while, some of you have, and you remember back to 1977 when we had the one and only snowfall we've ever had in this part of Florida. Well, it almost got that cold. 1 degree off that cold back in 1977. It was in January, about the 20th of the month, and it was indeed very cold. It was 27 degrees, and snow fell, and some even held. But as you look at Doppler 12 radar, there is no precipitation at this time, and it looks like it's going to stay very sunny and very clear most of the day today, and we're not going to see any snow, I promise you. But we're going to see a continuation of some pretty cool temperatures. I don't think we're going to get to the real record-breaking range that we reached this morning, but we're going to get pretty cold and down toward the freezing level, and there'll be some scattered frost about. You can see current temperatures now starting to move in to the middle and upper 40s, ranging from 45 degrees in Vero Beach to 47 in West Palm Beach, also 47 in Fort Pierce and 46 in Lauderdale. Relative humidity is very, very dry, and winds are up along the Gold Coast, and they're moderate along the Treasure Coast. The high temperatures yesterday, this feels more like Chicago and Minnesota and some of those areas. 41 and then a string of 42s from Fort Pierce to Lauderdale. And the morning lows, all records, 27, 28, 28, and 29, all records by at least 5 to 8 degrees colder than it ever was on this date in history. So indeed, we have some very, very difficult records to break from now on, I promise you. Satellite shows you that there's still a lot of cloudiness across the Appalachian chain, move-ins from the high plains and the Midwest and across the eastern seaboard. A big snowstorm across the Carolinas. The Cape got a lot of snow overnight, and that was a big low-pressure center that actually started in the Gulf, moved across Florida, and then moved off the eastern seaboard. It did dump a lot of snow across that area, and there's still a lot of snow falling to the northeast, especially from Pennsylvania all the way up through New England. The rest of the country generally pretty good on this Christmas Day. The close-up of the southeast shows you there are a few snow flurries still from parts of northern South Carolina up into North Carolina, but really the skies have cleared quite a bit across most of the state of Florida. A lot of cloudiness around the Atlantic and the Gulf, but that's where all the clouds are staying. Over the peninsula, it's going to be a clear, sunny day. Now, tomorrow, there's another front. It's not going to be as bitter as the one that went through a couple of days ago and left behind all this cold air, but it'll still keep it cooler. It's going to warm up, though, as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Actually, more Wednesday and Thursday is when the warmer temperatures will be seen. Tonight, still going to be very cool, but sunshine will prevail for us. You can see it will remain cold in the upper southeast. Snow will continue to fall from the Appalachians up to the northeast, still frigid across the Great Lakes and still cold in the Rocky Mountains. And ahead of this warm front, especially across the high plains, the Dakotas, there'll be more snow falling. Very sunny across the southwest and mild temperatures. Talked to my brother just yesterday, and out in San Diego, he said he had his shorts on. So that's been the only place in the entire 48 contiguous United States where it's been warm. You can see now for the next 3 or 4 days, on Tuesday, still going to be cold, mid-50s for a high, The lows overnight tonight will be right around the 32-degree mark. Wednesday, partly sunny to sunny skies, a little bit warmer, middle to upper 60s for a high. And on Thursday, more partly sunny skies. It'll start to warm up pretty well with a low 70s being the high for Thursday. Let's take a look now at our forecast. This is what we're looking at. Generally, the boaters will find winds out of the northwest about 12 to 17 knots today. Seas in the moderate range, 2 to 4 feet. Light chop on the inland waters and the surf at 74. And we're changing the tide right about now. It'll be a low tide, and then in 6 hours or so, the high tide will come in. The sun sets officially tonight at 5:35. So this is what we can look for the rest of this day. Sunny and a little breezy, and not quite as cold as yesterday. We're looking for a high around 51 to 56 degrees, especially along the beaches. It'll be about 56, but I would not suggest going to the beach today. It might be a little cool. Tonight, fair and cold. Scattered frost again tonight, especially in the inland colder areas. Some of the growing in the agricultural areas might see 29 degrees, and up toward the beaches, 34 to 35 degrees. So it's still going to be another cool night tonight. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and warmer, if you can call 62 to 67. But after what we've been through for the last couple of days, Gary and Debbie, I'd say 62 to 67 is a lot warmer. Winds will be out of the west, 10 to 15. And mostly sunny. So I think it's going to be pretty nice for the next couple of days. As we start to get toward the middle part of the week and the end of the week, temperatures are going to warm up a little closer to seasonal normals. That'll make a lot of the folks that have been visiting down here and been so shocked
feel more at home, right?
Happier.
And I'm enjoying it very much.
Are you really?
Yeah. Yesterday it was so funny. My mom put out her fur coat and everything. It was so cute.
I had 2 fur coats.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Gary.
Bob, you can go to the beach. Just wear a fur coat to it. You'll be fine. Coming up next on Eyewitness News, an age-old tradition of getting in touch with Santa Claus appears to be slowing down. That story next.